Your child is sitting quietly watching a screen. The house is peaceful. You finally have a moment to breathe, maybe cook dinner, maybe answer a few emails, maybe just sit down for 5 minutes. And honestly, it feels like a lifesaver. The screen keeps them calm and entertained, and you get a tiny window of peace in an otherwise chaotic day. I get it. I truly do. And I am not here to shame you or make you feel guilty because parenting is hard, and we all do what we need to do to survive some days. But here's the thing. While that screen is keeping your child quiet, something is happening inside their little brain, something that most parents do not realize until much later. And the more we understand about what is actually going on, the better choices we can make. Or not perfect choices, because perfection does not exist in parenting, but informed choices. And that is what today's video is all about. Hi everyone, welcome back to Little Blooms, the channel where we help your little ones grow, thrive, and blossom into their fullest potential. And today, we are diving into one of the most talked about and most debated topics in modern parenting. How does screen time actually affect your child's brain development? Now, before you click away thinking, oh great, another lecture about screen time, let me promise you this. I am not here to tell you to throw away every device in your house. I am here to share what the science actually says so that you can make the best decisions for your family. And then I have some really practical tips at the end that you are going to want to hear, so stay with me all the way through. Let us start with the basics. A child's brain develops faster in the first 5 years of life than at any other time. During this period, the brain is forming more than 1 million new neural connections every single second. Let me say that again. 1 million connections every single second. These connections are the foundation for everything your child will ever learn, think, feel, and do. Language skills, problem solving, emotional regulation, social skills, creativity, all of it is being wired right now in these early years. And what shapes those connections is experience. What your child sees, hears, touches, feels, and interacts with literally builds their brain architecture. So the question becomes, what kind of experiences is screen time providing? And how do those experiences compare to what their developing brain actually needs? Here's what researchers have found. When a young child watches a screen, their brain enters a more passive state. The fast-moving images, bright colors, and constant stimulation capture their attention, but not in the same way that real-world interactions do. You see, when a child plays with a real toy, builds a block tower, or has a conversation with a parent, their brain is actively working. It is problem-solving, predicting, making decisions, and processing feedback from the real world. But when a child watches a screen, most of that active processing slows down. The brain is receiving information, but it is not working nearly as hard to make sense of it. Think of it this way. Watching someone exercise on a screen does not make your muscles stronger. In the same way, watching stimulating content on a screen does not build your child's brain the way real hands-on experiences do. One of the biggest areas affected by excessive screen time is language development. And this is huge because language is the foundation for almost everything else in a child's growth. Studies have shown that for every 30 minutes of additional screen time per day, there is a significant increase in the risk of expressive language delay. Why? Because children learn language through back and forth interaction. They learn by watching your mouth move, hearing your voice responding, and getting a reaction. This is called serve and return interaction, and it is one of the most critical processes in early brain development. When a child is watching a screen, that serve and return loop is broken. The screen talks at your child, but it does not listen. It does not respond to your child's babbling. It does not wait for them to try a word. It does not adjust its language based on what your child needs. It is a one-way street, and a child's brain needs a two-way conversation to develop language properly. Another area that screen time impacts is attention and focus. Now, this might seem contradictory because when your child watches a screen, they seem incredibly focused, right? They are locked in, not moving, completely absorbed. But here is the catch. That is not the same kind of focus they need to develop for learning and problem solving in the real world. Screens use what scientists call extrinsic attention grabbers. These are fast cuts, bright flashing colors, loud sounds, and rapid scene changes that hijack your child's attention without requiring any effort from the child. The screen does all the work of keeping them engaged. But in the real world, in a classroom, in a conversation while reading a book, your child needs intrinsic attention. That is the ability to focus on something that is not constantly stimulating them. And research shows that children who are exposed to high amounts of screen time in their early years have a harder time developing this kind of sustained voluntary attention later on. Some studies have even linked excessive early screen time to increased symptoms of attention difficulties as children enter school age. Sleep is another critical area that gets disrupted by screen time, and sleep is absolutely essential for brain development. When a child sleeps, their brain is not resting. It is actually incredibly busy. During sleep, the brain consolidates memories, strengthens neural connections, and clears out waste products. It is like a construction crew that comes in at night to finish the building work that started during the day. Without enough quality sleep, that construction work does not get completed properly. And screens interfere with sleep in two major ways. First, the blue light emitted by screens suppresses the production of melatonin, which is the hormone that tells your child's body it is time to sleep. So screen time, especially in the evening, can make it much harder for your child to fall asleep. And second, the stimulating content on screens can leave your child's brain in an activated state, making it difficult for them to wind down and transition into restful sleep. The result is a child who sleeps less, sleeps poorly, and misses out on the critical brain-building work that happens during those nighttime hours. Now let us talk about something that does not get discussed enough: the impact of screen time on emotional regulation and behavior. Young children are still learning how to manage their emotions. They are learning how to cope with frustration, how to wait, how to handle boredom, and how to soothe themselves when they are upset. These are incredibly important life skills, and they are built through practice and real-world experience. But when a screen becomes the go-to tool for calming a child down or keeping them occupied during difficult moments, the child misses the opportunity to develop those internal coping skills. They learn that when I feel uncomfortable, a screen will fix it instead of learning to sit with discomfort and work through it. And over time, this can make emotional regulation harder, not easier. Many parents report that when they take a screen away, their child has an intense meltdown that seems disproportionate to the situation. That reaction is partly because the child's brain has become accustomed to the constant stimulation and dopamine release that screens provide, and removing it creates a kind of withdrawal response. So what can you do about all of this without losing your mind or feeling like a terrible parent? I first and most importantly try to keep screens away from children under 18 months as much as possible. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends avoiding screen time for children under 18 months, with the exception of video calls with family. For children between 18 months and 5 years, try to limit screen time to 1 hour per day of high-quality programming. And the word quality matters here. Choose slow-paced educational content that encourages interaction rather than fast-paced, overstimulating videos that just keep your child in a passive trance. Second, and this is a game changer, whenever possible, watch with your child. When you sit with your child and talk about what you are seeing on screen, you turn a passive experience into an active one. You bring back that serve and return interaction that their brain desperately needs. Ask them questions, point at things on the screen, connect what they see to real life. This co-viewing approach dramatically changes how your child's brain processes what they are watching. Third, create screen-free zones and screen-free times in your home. Meal times should be screen-free. The hour before bedtime should be screen-free. Playtime should be screen-free as much as possible. Fill those times with real-world interactions. Read together. Play together. Go outside. Talk to your child, even if they are too young to talk back. Those moments are building their brain in ways that no screen ever can. Fourth, and this one is really important, do not use screens as the default solution for every difficult moment. I know it is tempting, I know it works in the moment, but try to build a toolbox of other strategies. Offer a favorite toy. Go outside for a walk. Put on some music and dance. Give them a sensory activity like Play-Doh or water play. The more alternatives you have, the less dependent both you and your child become on screens. And finally, give yourself grace. We live in a digital world and screens are everywhere. There will be days when your child watches more than you planned. There will be moments when you hand them a phone because you simply have no other option. That is okay. One imperfect day does not undo all the good you are doing. What matters is the overall pattern. What matters is that you are informed and intentional and that you are doing your best. And the fact that you are watching this video right now tells me that you are already doing an incredible job. Thank you so much for being here today. If this video opened your eyes or gave you something to think about, please give it a thumbs up and share it with another parent who needs to hear this. Subscribe to Little Blooms and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. And leave a comment below telling me what your biggest challenge is when it comes to managing screen time in your home. I want to hear your story because we are all in this together. Until next time, keep nurturing those beautiful little blooms. I will see you in the next one.